A brief statement about what Comicsgate is. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. You're listening to 300x.ca. We cover comic books, video games, and sci-fi, all brands of entertainment, all of the time. Comicsgate is a campaign in opposition to perceived forced diversity and liberalism in the content of North American superhero comic books and the kinds of creators who work in the industry. The name is derived from Gamergate, a similar movement related to video games. Comics artist Ethan Van Sciver presents it as a consumer-led revolt against liberalism in the industry and part of the culture war. Artist Mike S. Miller describes it as an alliance of comic book fans, critics, and creators who have found common cause in standing up against what they see as a hard push by social justice warriors into their hobby. Participants argue that forced diversity occurs in both hiring and comics content, and this has led to a decline in sales. Critics of the movement have described it as part of the alt-right movement and as a harassment campaign which targets women, people of color, and LGBT folk in the comic book industry. They have blamed it for the vandalism of a store that did not stock comics created by its members and for threats of violence against others. Let's talk about this. First off, liberalism has destroyed not just comic books, but movies, television, and life in general. It's destroyed politics in the entire Western world. And the reason it has done so is that we are being told that falsities are truths only because certain people within those falsities have their feelings hurt. Well, who cares? We've all been told the same thing when we were young. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Unless, of course, you are over the age of 18 and have declared yourself a social justice warrior. Now, the worst part about this is that other people have decided that they are the moral authority in the world. They are going to decide for me what I'm going to be allowed to read or consume. People with very little education and no degrees or certificates to prove that their opinions are worth anything are going to dictate to you what you can read and what you cannot read. Are you going to allow somebody else to dictate to you what you're allowed to do or say or believe or consume? Especially when you're paying for it? Well, you shouldn't. And this is what Comicsgate is all about. We need to make sure that everybody out there who wants to read something violent or something gross or something satirical or heck, even something racist has the right to do so. It doesn't make a difference that somebody that you do not know has their feelings hurt by a book that was produced either today or even 15 years ago. What matters is that they're going to try to stop you from reading it, from purchasing it. It's your money. It's your time. If you choose to spend your cash on anything that might be perceived as incorrect or wrong by people on the left, well, it's none of their business. It's your business what you buy. However, they're working very hard to make sure that you cannot buy what you want to buy. And I do have a problem with that, and that is why Comicsgate is such an important movement. We've all come to realize, or at least those of us with intelligence have come to realize, that liberalism, left-wing thinking, and social justice warrior actions do not benefit society in any way. They have harmed society in every way, and now they're coming for your comic books. In fact, they've already done it. And I, for one, am not going to purchase anything that a social justice warrior has touched or anything with a social justice commentary within it. When I want to buy a violent comic book, I'm expecting it to be as violent and over-the-top crass as possible. Why? Because I'm looking for that 15 minutes of release while I read the book before I go back to my real life. You know, one with a job, one where I take care of my kids and pay my mortgage and pay my taxes and pay my bills. Yeah, all I'm asking for is 15 minutes to be left the hell alone while I read something that I have chosen to purchase. And if social justice warriors have their way, it's all going to be lies and fluff and garbage that I first off disagree with vehemently, but also is absolutely incorrect. There are not any more than two genders out there. Donald Trump is the best president the Americans have had since Andrew Jackson. Your feelings do not matter. What you achieve in this lifetime does. And if you are the kind of guy to go out there and achieve the creation of a really solid, violent comic book or a really solid, violent video game or a piece of science fiction literature, I want to buy it. And you and I should have the right to transact with each other, where I give you my money for your work, and then I read it and either like it or dislike it, and then I have the right to make commentary on whether or not I liked it or disliked it. Because A, it's my time, and B, it's my money. And if I want to buy what you're selling that happens to be right of center or even hardcore far right nonsense, I'm going to do it if I choose to do it with my cash, and nobody on the left has the right to tell me that I can't. That is why Comicsgate is so important to not just the comic book industry, but to freedom and freedom of speech in general. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. Commentary like this exists all over 300x.ca. Subscribe now, visit our website, and donate so we can keep bringing content like this to all of you. 300x.ca.